we had to introduce the idea of Booktown, for example. It wouldn't have been thought of. But we had to introduce that idea very carefully and thinking hard about how it fitted into the built environment and how it fitted into the emotional environment, the values that were here, the things that were important in Clunes.
Yeah.
So I do wonder about a premise that says, oh well, you know, is the change something that is the most popular vote, you know? What about someone who comes in with a completely radical new idea and it does fit and people feel comfortable with it? Then it seems to me that that's part of leadership. If you look at the area that I'm interested in, which is, I have a basic premise that says we will all do well if there is a reason for outsiders to come in and give us their funds. Yeah. So they will. That is tourism, in other words, or it could be anything else, you know.
Yep.
But let's take it as tourism, form of tourism. So we bring outsiders in, and they spend their money here. They buy a cup of coffee or whatever, and that then means that that cafe has a job for somebody, you know, after school or a mum or whatever. So people in Clunes start being able to have jobs locally. Young people in particular, mums, that kind of thing, you know, carers, whatever. So there's a lot of those kinds of jobs. So everyone's doing a little bit better. They don't have to go to Ballarat for that sort of work. Yeah. And also it cements the family a bit more. If the kids don't have to go to Ballarat for jobs, you know, after school jobs or something, that's better for them to be around.
Yeah.
So that creates a prosperity in the town. And businesses thrive. Well, when a business thrives, they then have to go and, you know, redo their paths or blah, 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 blah. You know, buy things. And so other businesses flourish, yeah? So the whole thing is about flourishing. So that, okay, in itself, that's fine. And you've got to have something that isn't too offensive to people and it's good and you can still have domestic life. I recently visited a place in South Australia that I used to live in a long time ago called Port Elliot. It's a little town on the near the mouth of the Murray. Whales come in and stuff. It's become such a tourist outlet that I don't think it's possible to live in that town anymore. And that worries me. And I looked at that and I thought, you know, the post office, what was once a post office is now an art gallery. What was once a, you know, a fruit and veg shop or the butcher is now what. Yeah, it still has to have that sense of people live here. You know, it's just, there are still things that people can go and do and have and be part of.
Yeah.
And enjoy their life in the community. We have to be very, very aware and very, very careful about how we balance this stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I don't know the answers to that. I think that's a discussion to be had.
When you started with the concept of Creative Clunes and Clunes as an international book town, what was that experience like, taking the initial steps and setting that up as a project that can have a long-term effect?
Yeah. Well, first of all, what happened, it was a case of NIMBY, you know, not in my backyard, because we heard that one of two things was about to happen in Clunes, and they were even being entertained at council level. So, you know, it wasn't just rumour mills, but they hadn't got through anywhere, but they were definitely on the table. And one was to move the sale yards from Ballarat to Clunes, and that would have probably ruined Clunes, I would think. And the railway station would be opened up for stock. You know, that's what it was all about. And the other was to make us a dormitory suburb of Ballarat. Now, we've seen all those dormitory suburbs, you know, Lucas and so on. And that would have probably been the death of what we liked. What we had come, group of us had come to this town as tree changers, and we wanted its nice little cuteness and, you know, its prettiness. So we saw ourselves very much as saving Clunes, but in reality, in hindsight, it was definitely, you know, I didn't want to live next to a sale yard. You know?
Yeah,
okay.
It's a matter of taste.
Yeah, that's right. If change was coming, what kind of change did we want? All right, that was the premise. Change was afoot. And so a lot of hard work went into a couple of things. One was to notice that there was an enormous number of empty buildings shops, and empty, empty, empty. And instead of looking at the empty as a negative, we began to look at the empty as a positive, as opportunity. And that was a huge, big shift in thinking. And then the other big shift in thinking was to say, well, what could we bring into these, you know, the halls, all kinds of places. What could we bring into them that would fit in with the characteristics of Clunes? So what were the characteristics of Clunes? What would fit, you know? And with a lot of time spent on what would fit. And we came up with the most quintessential thing about Clunes was discovery of gold. The museum was important with the people discovering their genealogy, a big genealogy factor here in Clunes because of the gold rushes. And then there was all this discovery of education. Wesley was discovery, and the library, you know, then discovery. So we took discovery as a central theme. And from discovery, it was just a hop, skip and a jump to get to books, really. And then started doing some work around the world, looking at what was this phenomenon, book towns, and how they fitted into built environments that were already there. So we didn't have to have a giant book, and we didn't have to redo things, and we didn't have to wreck the heritage buildings. You could put bookshops in anywhere, or use a bookcase, you know, basically. We decided to, there were 4 of us, Graham Johnston, Linda Newitt, Tim Hayes and myself, and we managed to get a small amount of money for a business plan, and we employed somebody, Paul Miller from Creswick, and he came in and he didn't believe us that this was a good idea at all. And we were a bit, you know, gobsmacked when nobody believed us. And so he said, well, why don't we have one? We'll have a fair. We'll have a book town fair. Book town for a day, it was called. Just to test to see whether anyone will come. Right? And we, okay, so market research it was called. So a little tiny, we had no money. We had like, I don't know, $5,000 or $6,000. I think the total budget for the first one was like $12,000. It's nothing compared to this. Adding extra more. So we just scraped all these little bits together, and we did it very quickly. And we thought maybe there could be 5 or 6 book traders coming when we sent out the invitations. But when we sent them out, we got rushed with everybody wanting to come. So there was something like 50 book traders. And every time another book trader wanted to come, we had to ask another organisation if we could have the RSL hall or the bowling club or, you know, whatever. Like, we're asking all these organisations. So it all happened in a rush. So what we did is we decided, because there'd been some rough public meetings, and we thought, this isn't going to work to have a public meeting. This is not the moment for us to cope with the naysayers, you know. We were too fragile. So what we did is we decided to call the executives of all the groups. Now, Clunes has the groups. The groups are very important. Clunes has always had the groups. What, 40 of them or something, you know, at Australia. Yeah. And there were 700 people in Clunes at the time, and there were still 40 groups, you know. So we called the executives of the groups to this meeting to present to them what they thought. And we expected, you know, 5 people to turn up. It was nervous as hell. And the place was full. We had the supper room, the town hall was full. We had to get more chairs, people standing around the edges, blah, blah, blah. Then we presented, and there was just deathly silence. And we thought, that's it. We could cancel the whole thing, right? Okay, we'll cancel the whole thing. We'll go back to square one. Deathly silent. And Judith Fawcett got up. And Judith Fawcett stood up instead of all the doozy ideas I've heard about to do in Clunes. She said, this is brilliant. And then everyone went, here, here. And that was that. So the groups then came on board. But it wasn't, you know, we were apologetic that we came to them so late. So it was very, yeah. So this way of how do you talk to your community? I think it's a really big and important question, because there are people who just get it off on saying no, you know, but so sometimes ideas are so fragile, you need to talk to those people who are taking, you know, a stand, they're doing something, they're putting their hand up, they're playing some role in the community, because they're probably less likely to be naysayers than people who sit around, that kind of thing. So you need to start with people who allow the bubbles to float, but at some stage, when they're becoming more firm, you need to communicate with your community. And how to do that at the various points of ideas, I think that's the really hard one. And a lot of ideas don't get any further because people pull them down at any of these very fundamental stages. I mean, we've all been in groups when someone says, what about if we're, oh, I'm stupid. And that's it. That's as far as that idea gets. That idea might have been the most fantastic thing in the world if you'd allowed it to have a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing ideas, breathing air. So, but at the same time, it's got to come back to the community. So it's very difficult. Yeah. And when you introduce those, so it's I don't think anybody knows. You've got to kind of hunch it through with each different group and each different situation. But when we put that first book town on, there was something like 300 volunteers from the community. Yeah, now, of a community of 700 population, it's amazing. So, and they just, people did things, the groups did things, So I'm a great believer in the groups and the power of the groups and working through people who are prepared to put their hand up. And I think Clunes has got an exceptional community. I'm working on a project at the moment called The Loop, which is a walking track, a linear park really, around Clunes, connecting various parts, the railway station, health centre, neighbourhood house, Fairview, school, the gold mining precinct, along the backbone of the cafes and the creek. Because health is a very important thing, and the irony is, we've got several walking groups in Clunes, but we have to walk on the roads. This isn't always the best thing to do.
And historically there were pathways connecting the areas. Yeah.
So I thought that there really could be some connecting pathways, and that we should be looking at health in the biggest sense. Emotional health as well, so the cafes are important. Aesthetic health, we've got to have places where you can look at the vista or, some plantings or something. So that's why I like to talk about it in terms of more of a linear path. And it is possible to do in Clunes. There are lots of, ways of doing it.
Very walkable. It's very close. Yeah.
And there can be parts that are, more hut, and parts that are gentler. And people can do longer loops or smaller loops and things like that. So that's taken a really big step at the moment, and I'm very pleased about that. That's now gone into planning in the council level, and once that happens, we then can go and talk with politicians about, it being an election prom year and blah, blah. And that's in a sense how these things get done. You talk with groups and then you get a plan and you go and talk in politicians, and it's all about money in the end. It's about lobbying and trying to get that through. So that would be good, something along those lines, and there could be more extension of those sorts of things, so that as we go forward, we are more and more aware of the need for using our environment and keeping reasonably fit. And you get people out of the house.
Yeah.
If you have a nice path, you're more likely to walk down to have a coffee on a day like today than drive. And if you walk down, you'll see people and you wave to them, and they will wave back, and blah, 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 blah. And so it takes 2 hours to go and have a half-hour coffee. That's okay too. It's very good health, I think that's very good health. So I mean health in the broadest sense. So I think consideration for health in the broadest sense, consideration for the environment and renewable energy and those things in the broadest sense, and a balance between the way in which we get prosperity and the way in which we live. So no to those things that are going to pollute our environment or with noise or whatever, and yes to those things which are going to support our environment, but at the same time keeping the ordinary. So we will have more transport. Of course we will. By 2050 I won't be alive, but we will have more transport. Some smaller housing for the elderly or singles. Variety of housing I'd like to see. Probably probably a little bit more planning in that sense. You know, different sizes of blocks, not all tiny together, all that kind of stuff. You know, fairly rudimentary things, but recognising that it's a very beautiful environment, and people want to come and live here, and people want to come and have a holiday here. You know? So just keeping that balance between the two, I think. But I think we're in good hands, you know, because what's happening, Clunes has grown enormously since the first book town. That's my first book town, 2007. It's grown, and it's now, I can't remember, 1,600 and something or something like that. And when I say Clunes, it's the 3370 postcode. Now that doesn't worry me that they're not all living within, you know, half a K of the main street. They're still having to buy their milk in IGA and post their letters in the post office or whatever. Send their kids to local school. So what's happening with this huge increase in growth, and not everyone has had an increase in growth, is that the people who are coming in are, a lot of the people coming in are tree changers, early retirees, people like that. They've got a fairly good level of education, and they're contributing. Almost all of the organisations, well, certainly but certainly in Creative Clunes, for example, I think just about everybody on that board is new and has probably come in to the town since just about. So they're picking up jobs and they're doing things for the community. Now I see this as enormously beneficial. You know, so look at the two Christines in the gallery. They've come in since then. They're both educated. They're contributing. Christine Lethlean is contributing through the makers, you know, the weave, the stitches, and all those. So we've got all these different, you know, they're all coming in. You look at Neil Jebweb, who's a lawyer. He's just coming in. He's taking on roles at the CDDA level and at Creative Clunes level. These are people who are contributing their skills, and I think that while that happens, there will always be people who stand up and say, "Wait, what about?"
Yeah.
And that's good, and that will be generational.
Yeah.
And never forget the most important thing, and I think the reason why where we function so well as a community is that there are different skills. We don't all have the same skills. I've got skills in writing. I don't have skills in how to garden or anything. You know, my garden's always a mess compared to other people. I just don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do all kinds of things, but they do. So when we combine the skills together, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's the thing. So let's always listen to each other. Do things. Have wine bars and, you know, pick grapes or whatever it is. Do things together.
Yeah.
And learn to talk to each other. And then we'll be fine in 2050.